Capitalism ho! Remember Recettear, the shopkeeper simulation game that took the internet by storm back in 2007? If you do and you were itching for more capitalistic exploits, then Alfine is the game for you. And if you don't, well, you should really go back and play it. Alfine is very similar in its mechanics to Recettear, but the stories and characters are quite a bit different. Where Recette was a very loud and brash character, the protagonist here, named Louis, is a shy and reserved sort of person. In a way, they sort of shifted Recette's personality onto the second protagonist in Alfine, Alice. The game begins with Louis taking care of his parents' shop. They've been off on a business trip for some time, and when he opens the front door to the place, he accidentally cracks Alice, a small fairy, in the face with it. This causes her to take a hard tumble and she drops a gemstone, which promptly breaks. Being a loudmouth that's a big fan of money, she concocts a story about how she needs the gem to be repaired in order to go home and how its worth is immense. Since Louis is now on the hook to pay for this thing, he decides that taking over his parents' store is the best way to go about it. Other characters will show up in the game as you play, 3 of whom are adventurers you can send off to find you special items to sell in your shop. I didn't find this mechanic particularly useful. It was kind of amusing to see what kind of weird stuff they'd find, but none of it was hugely valuable or in demand, so it didn't add a whole lot to the shop in the end. Sadly, the fighting mechanic that was in Recettear is not present in this game at all. All of the adventuring is done automatically off-screen. Kind of a bummer. The main way to acquire goods to sell in your shop is by going to the market. The idea is to buy items and then sell them for more money at the shop. A simple concept that is made a little more complicated due to the types of items and types of customers. There are 3 different types of items that you can sell: food, gear, and merchandise. Food is a big seller, but it can't be too expensive, and stocking too much will lead to it rotting on you. Gear is a slow seller, but it can be sold for more money and can sit around forever. Merchandise sits in the middle here. It sells faster than gear, but slower than food, doesn't go bad, and sells for a moderate amount. But that really depends on the item itself. A silver necklace can be sold for a lot more than used paper can, for example. By the way, who buys used paper anyway? What the hell is someone doing with that? Making pulp? I'm so confused right now. So you can play this game in a variety of different ways. Playing it fairly safe and selling items for 105 to 106% normally and 160-ish when prices are soaring will get you through the game on medium difficulty, no problem. But if you want to become a real tycoon, then you gotta play around way more than that. And if you really want a challenge, then you should definitely set the game to hard difficulty, as medium is not very tough and easy is a cakewalk for experienced players. A mode that differentiates Alfine from Recettear is the commerce battles. These will come up at various times during the story, and the basic gist of them is that you're given 5 days to make as much profit as you can, and if you manage to get more than the other shop, then you win. All of these must be won in order to progress, except for the final one, which will not give you a game over, but will give you an ending that isn't the best one. Playing through the game, you'll quickly notice that time management is an important element here. Each day is separated into 3 different periods of time: morning, afternoon, and night. Most actions taken will cause time to advance. If you go to the market in the morning, the game will advance to the afternoon. And if you were to open your shop at night, the day would be over. Some areas are only open at certain times of the day, so it's important to plan which moves to make. This is even more important when you're in the middle of a commerce battle. If you waste too much time, you'll never make enough to win. Story sequences are best left alone until the battle is over. By the way, there's also a weather system in place. If it's raining, for example, you're not gonna get as many customers, so it might be best to do something else that day. The way Alfine looks and sounds is also very reminiscent of Recettear, with most of the game being in a 2D anime style. I really enjoyed the character designs in this game. They aren't super over the top or anything, but they're all really unique and appealing. I particularly like Tsubame, the cool looking fox ninja lady. You can also upgrade the look of your store by earning points, which you get by selling lots of stuff. These aren't just aesthetic choices. They will affect the types of customers you get more of, which is important when deciding what items to sell. Have a cute store? You'll get more little girls who want to buy items like teddy bears. Have a cool store? You'll probably end up selling more gear. Other important upgrades you get with points include adding more shelves, meaning more items in general, as well as increasing how many of each item they can hold, and increasing the number of items you can buy at the market. Speaking of how many items you can stock, you'll find out pretty quick that you want to have enough stock to last, otherwise you'll have to have Alice attempt to restock the shelves, which is slow, to say the least.
Move faster, Pokey! Faster!
The music and voice acting in this game are pretty good, but starting up the game you'll notice a problem immediately. It's ear-shatteringly loud and there aren't any volume options. Rest in peace, headphone users. Rest in peace. The second issue is that there isn't a whole lot of music. A lot of it tends to repeat. If repetitive music you can't turn off bothers you, then you'll probably have to mute your sound to play this. I've played every Harvest Moon game in existence, the series that features like 4 songs total, so this was pretty familiar territory for me. The songs are nice and catchy, so hey, play them for all eternity, what do I care? Just like Recettear, Alfina is super addictive and it's a lot of fun to grow a store. The characters are all unique and likable, and while the story is pretty simple, it's one I wanted to see through anyway. If this game seems up your alley, then grab this one as soon as possible.